Hi, I'm Mike Blyer from AB Alchemy Digital Marketing, and I'm here to introduce the new and improved version of the SMRT Power Tools sign-up flow. So first, what I want to talk about is something called conversion rate optimization. What's conversion rate optimization? Well, it's a whole science and an art form kind of wrapped into one. It's the idea that based upon making small tweaks and changes to a sign-up form or other elements of a web page, you can really change the rates in which your visitors of your site actually perform the actions that you'd like them to perform. In our case, in the dry cleaning industry, we're trying to get customers to sign up and use our pickup and delivery service. So let's talk about what we all have currently. For me, as somebody who really takes a deep dive into conversion rate optimization and really streamlining the sign-up process, I was never crazy about the sign-up process, even after this new smart portal was created. When a user clicks on your sign-up form on your website or from your Google ad or your Facebook ad, or wherever you're getting customers, new customers to get to your website, they're greeted with this screen. It starts out pretty good. However, at that point, here's where I'm not crazy about the sign-up form. When I get to a sign-up process for any other company, I've never been asked, as the very first thing that I'm asked to do, enter my phone number. To me, when it's asking for a phone number, that's asking for something for an existing user. So to me, I'm already a little bit confused. But even if I did go ahead and enter a number, the next thing that it does is it sends me a validation code. Again, just not the best experience. It's just not the best process. It's making your users jump through just one more hoop. They just want to get signed up and get started. So how did I solve this problem? With the SMRT Power Tools sign-up flow. Let me show you what that looks like. On my site, you pick one of the calls to action. I'm going to click the sign up button and I'm going to go right into our sign up flow. And as you can see, it is immediately 100% of a different look and feel. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm asking if it's a new or existing customer. Why am I doing this? The reason is because no matter how clear I make my calls to action, the button that says sign up or get started with an account or whatever I call the call to action button, inevitably, I'll always get customers who click the sign up button and are really trying to request a pickup. So I started off with this question just to make sure that we have the customers who are getting to the right place. So if they click that button and they're an existing customer and they know that, they can just click this and we'll go right to the SMRT portal. A second option here is somebody who might not be sure if they have an account. Maybe this is someone who hasn't used a service in years, or maybe it's a husband who thinks the wife has an account but isn't sure. So we have this option where we can ask to verify an account, and if they click on this option, it will ask them to enter a phone number. But of course, they know this going into it because they've clicked an option that asks them to validate whether they have an account or not. So if we go ahead and enter a phone number that actually does correspond to an account, we come back with the we found an account and we access their account by clicking continue, and we're right back to the SMRT portal. Now let's say this is a brand new customer and they know that. They're going to click the I'm a new customer button and it just gives a very brief, hey, this is going to take 30 to 60 seconds. Let's go. So the first thing that we ask them to do is to enter their address, because that's the most important thing that we need to know. Do they fit into our delivery zone? Now, at Greener Cleaner Chicago, we have three main categories of customers. We have what I call our traditional pickup and delivery customers, and those are customers who fit onto our delivery routes within Chicagoland. Then we have what I call our special address customers, and those are customers where we have partnerships with properties, for example, lockers in residential properties or commercial buildings and businesses. And option number 3 is customers that live outside of Chicagoland. We actually have a mail order service. Now, if you don't have some of these options, these don't have to be enacted in your situation. But really, this is something that I've developed that can be completely flexible. if you have something like this, or if you have something completely different that you'd like to add, we can pretty much add anything as far as the imagination can take. So the next step is for the customer to actually add their address. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on an address that I know is in our delivery zone. This is one of our store locations, and you can see a very user-friendly map confirming that we have the right place pops up, and we're going to go ahead and just click continue. It checks for service in the area. Now here's where this sign-up flow gets really powerful, because in this part we have something that no other sign-up process in the dry cleaning industry, as far as I'm aware, can do yet. And that is, it can actually do some upselling for you during the sign-up process. So, what's become one of the biggest avenues of growth in dry cleaning in recent years? MRR, monthly recurring revenue, in the form of subscriptions. So, our subscriptions in Chicago are wash and fold subscriptions. Now, you can set this up with any kind of subscription you want, but this is just the example that I have in Chicago. So the next question here is, which services will you be starting today? Are you going to be starting both dry cleaning and wash and fold, only dry cleaning, or only wash and fold? Now, this flow uses conditional logic. So if a customer chooses an option, or the option, where there's not wash and fold being chosen, then they're not going to get asked about laundry subscriptions. So if I were to click on this, you'll see we go right to the step where it's asking, do they want to have regular scheduled service, or do they want to have manual or will call pickups? But I'm going to show you what happens if they choose something that does have wash and fold laundry, because we want to push those wash and fold subscriptions. So if they choose either one of these options, it's going to ask them, hey, you said you're going to be signing up for laundry. Would you be interested in signing up with up to 45% off of our regular rates? And of course, they're going to say yes. And if they do, it gets into the screen where we talk about our different laundry subscription plans. Now, if they go ahead and read about our subscription plans and choose the one that they want, we then get back to that screen that we just saw before, where the user can now choose, do they want to have a recurring service each week, or do they want to manually schedule it? Just to show you how it works, I'm going to go ahead and click manually schedule. Next, we have the screen where the user is prompted to provide instructions for the driver. So this sign-up flow is smart enough that when it puts these instructions into Smart, it's putting it in as a permanent instruction under the user. So in other cases where users are able to request delivery instructions, they tend to go in as one-time instructions. And what I found is those users don't repeat those instructions every single time they request a pickup. So what happens is you sometimes lose those door codes or buzzer codes, whatever it may be, instructions they give you, you might not have them saved permanently in that spot. Next, we're to the part of the sign-up flow where we're almost done. This is the final step before their account is actually created in Smart. So we ask them to fill out their first, last name, and email, and phone number. And then this is an optional field, promo code, and I like to give all of my customers who sign up at least a free trial of the first $10 on us. That's totally optional. In fact, you don't even need to include a promo code field. Some dry cleaners, as I know, are staunchly against using promo codes. I personally believe that they truly do move the needle as far as getting customers to convert at a higher rate. So I always include them, but it's a personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. Okay, so I've filled out all the information. I'm going to go ahead and check the box that says that they agree to text messaging, and I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Now it processes their registration just for a few moments, and bam, their account is all set up. A clear, concise screen letting them know they're done. But the next step is optional, because you do have customers who want to set up that first pickup right away, and some customers who don't, although again, we're seeing a lot more who do, because this process is so smooth and easy for them to get through. So I'm going to say yes, I want to go ahead and set up my first pickup now. So now we get to the screen where the user can choose their pickup. And because our sign-up flow goes directly into Smart, and knows what address that particular customer should be plotted on, the system knows what days are available to that customer. So the address that I put in happens to be a Wednesday-Saturday route. And so when I click on the calendar, the days that are available to me are Wednesdays and Saturdays. So I go ahead and I choose one and I click continue. And now here we get to the part where we're asking about special instructions for our cleaning team. And this will go in not as a permanent instruction as did the instructions before for the driver, because those driver instructions are typically permanent. This goes in as a one-time order instruction. So I'm going to go ahead and put order instructions test. And I'm going to click continue. And now it books my appointment. Now we have our final option. I leave it up to the customer. This is also yet another totally optional part of the system. If you'd like, you can completely require that customers put in their payment information now before they get to the final screen. I have found that that turns off some customers and they prefer to do it later. To me, it doesn't matter. Once we complete the pickup and we have their items, we're not delivering it until we have payment information on file anyway. So for me, it makes sense to offer this option. But again, this is optional. We can set it up however you'd like to set it up. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I'm going to enter payment now, and you'll see we get to the Stripe info screen. Now, if I were to just go ahead and click no, because I don't feel like putting in payment information, I'm going to go ahead and click no, and we're all done. So, what does that look like in Smart? So here we are in my instance of Smart, and you can see I have a new notification. So here we are in Smart, and you can see that this sign up came in, as did an appointment that got scheduled. And let's take a closer look at the customer sign up that came through. So you can see this pending transaction for a wash and fold subscription that was chosen during the sign up process. We can take a look at the driver instructions, which as you can see have been input as a permanent customer instruction so that they're always there as a driver instruction. We can take a look at the subscription tab, and we can see that the subscription is currently pending once this transaction has been finalized. We can take a look at the actual pickup that was requested, and you can see that the order instructions as one-time instructions were correctly set. And we can take a look at the admin tab, and we can see the promo code that was entered during sign up is also permanently set. So the entire sign up is complete with a subscription selected and the customers choosing their first pickup already set on your route. The sign up process is completely streamlined and the user experience is vastly improved from anything else that they've experienced before, leading to much higher rates of conversions from people who sign up on your website to those that actually sign up and proceed to requesting that first pickup and actually using your service. So obviously the user experience is greatly improved, but is that all it does? I'm glad you asked. No, that's not even the best part of what using Smart Power Tools is going to do for you, because what this also allows is something that's been missing from every single sign-up process, again, that I've seen in the industry until now, and that is the ability to track your marketing. If you're a dry cleaner that does any advertising whatsoever, whether that is just pushing people to your Google My Business page, you're doing SEO work, or maybe you're using Google Ads, Facebook and Instagram ads, TikTok, or any other form of paid advertising, up until now, it's been impossible to track your marketing. Why? Because previously, anytime a sign-up happened, it takes place off of your site on a place that you can't track the conversion. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you're doing a Google Ads campaign. If you're pushing people to your homepage and then the user is expected to click a sign up button, or if you're pushing them directly to the sign up process, either way, the old way, when a customer gets there, they're actually leaving your homepage, and when they get to the Smart Portal, we are no longer on a greenercleaner.net page. We're no longer on a site that I can track. If a conversion happens on this page, I've lost the ability to track a conversion. I can track the fact that they clicked the sign up button if I sent them to my homepage first, Or I can track the fact that they went from Google Ads directly to this page. But once they get here, it's kind of a black hole. I don't know if they got to this page, went to the enter your phone number process, got frustrated and left, or if they actually completed all the way through and completed that transaction, became a customer, and requested a pickup. Yes, I see signups coming in, but I don't know where they came from, and more importantly, I can't track the value of my advertising dollar. With Smart Power Tools, now we can. Here's how. When we set up your Smart Power Tools, we also set up some custom fields in your customer screen for you that utilize something called UTMs. What are UTMs? Basically, it's an easy way for us to track the source of where a customer came from. And that source gets put right into the customer fields of each customer. So as you can see here, we have UTM source, medium, campaign, and term. So you can get really granular as to the fact of where your customers came from. If this was a paid ad, instead of me clicking from Google, it would say Google PPC, and then I can get down to the granularity of the campaign that I actually used to send the customer here. Was it a laundry campaign? Was I advertising wash and fold laundry and that was the campaign that really is driving new customers? Or was it a dry cleaning campaign? Or was it something else? Even down to the term that you used that the user actually clicked on. So you can really get down to granular level of what is working for your paid advertising and really start to see the effectiveness of your campaigns. Once this is done, you can run reports based upon these fields. So you can see each and every month exactly how much you're making from these customers coming from your paid advertising. Here in the reports section, you can set up reports any way you'd like, and you can actually visualize exactly how much your customers are spending that came from Google, whether or not they came from organic, PPC, or any other source. It's an incredibly powerful way for us to track our marketing, whether or not it's paid, organic, or otherwise. Okay, that's the end of this demonstration. I'm really excited about this new version of Smart Power Tools. Hopefully you are as well and can see the power not just of improving your customers' user experience, but also the power in tracking your marketing and seeing where your dollars are going. If you're not yet a Smart Power Tools user and want to get started, just navigate to the link on the bottom of the screen, fill out the form, and we can get started right away.